Hi, I am Cheri, and today I'm going to show you, not the frog card, you may have seen this. I am doing a series of cards. I haven't quite picked out all of them yet, but I'm going through some of my older cards that have been popular hits, both in classes and on here on YouTube and on my Facebook, ones that people have really liked. And I'm going to show you, because a lot of times people say to me, I don't know how you came up with those ideas. So these are all my original cards, and I'm going to copy them, because people will say, I don't know how you came up with them, and they don't feel like they can copy them. But most certainly, I love when people do my cards, so do them. The only thing I ask is that you don't do them and then make a video of them like this, because if you're going to make a video, I think it should be your own work. But by all means, do them and then give them to your friends and family. I love when people do that, so do that. But sometimes people say, well, I would like to do that, but I don't have that. And the other thing that happens is people want to do them and they watch a video and what I've used is no longer available. And this is one of those cases where not only is the frog not available, even when the dies were available, they sold out super quick, like within days. Like we're talking, I can't remember if it was a week. I know in Europe they were like over a weekend and they were gone from start to finish. So there was, you know, by the time you actually saw my video, they were not sold out when I did the video. Excuse me. But they sold out right away. So you may have seen this card and thought, oh, I really wanted to do it. So if it's the frog that you loved, if it was the idea that you loved. So obviously it's a little quirky. He's got a little bit of movement to him. I did it in March, I think, into February. So we were coming on spring. So some spring colors. So what I'm going to do is show you, maybe you like the card, but you don't have the stuff. So here's what you can do with maybe what you do have. So I'm going to take, we've got Quirky Frog, and I'm going to go with the new cows. So these just came out, not sold out. You can still get them. They don't have dies, but that's okay. They're simple to cut out. You can still get kinds of gingham paper. If you love the check, you could always get the buffalo plaid, which I was tempted to go with the buffalo plaid stamp, but I thought that's kind of obvious. Y'all can do that. So if you want to just stamp the buffalo plaid in a color, you can do that. Obviously you can see that. But I wanted to do, if you don't have the buffalo plaid, or if you want to kick it up a notch. So I'm going to use the new birch background, because again, this is brand new. So it's not going anywhere, and obviously it's made to look like birch bark. And that goes with our little outside cow theme. So we're going to go from the springy little frog, which back then I didn't show you how to do this. I'm going to show you how to make the little spring. So let's do this. I'm also going to show you another background, because I'm going to double up the backgrounds on this one. So I'm going to do crumb cake, which is a nice color to go with the birch. Actually, I used Sahara sand, but I wanted my card to be a little richer, the card base. So I've got two pieces of vanilla here. I've got a bigger one and then one that I've cut a 1/4 inch smaller. My hands are all inky. I've been stamping a lot today. And you know, once you get past the point, it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna clean them up anymore. I'm done. So I'm gonna take this piece here, and this is gonna be this. I'm gonna leave that. This I'm going to put here. And if you see me use my backgrounds, I often don't mount them on anything. I just leave them in the case. They're just easier to work with. So I'm gonna take my Sahara sand. I'm gonna ink this up in here. And it doesn't have to be super, super inked up on this, because it's a birch background. And you know, birch is all peely and it's not all perfect. So that's good for that. So take this, just lay it on here. Usually I have a piece, that's part of the reason my hands are inky, is because I touched this. Usually I have a piece of scrap in here. So if you've seen me use like my buffalo check background, there's a piece that I keep in here. I just don't have one in here yet, because this is still a fairly new stamp set. But there you go, see, it looks like birch bark. So we've got that. Now let's go to our big shot, or whatever die cutting system that you use. I'm going to use two different pieces. So first we're going to cut this. And again, I have another brand new. I went with a lot of new. And this is one of our new nested stitched label dies. And this is the largest one, I think. So just slide this in here. And because all of this comes from a new annual catalog, you have a year to get this. So just roll this through here. We'll put that there. And then I'm going to take all these pieces off. And I'm going to go with one of another brand new, this is one made by Stampin' Up. So this is called a 3D. They're not dynamic anymore if you get the ones by Stampin' Up. This is the 3D brick. And you may have seen I just did a card with it. And I did the Ray Dunn and I rubbed the black over it. No, I did the opposite. I rubbed white over it. So this time I'm gonna put the vanilla in here. So with these, if you are using, my hands are really dirty. I have ink everywhere. I should have washed them up a little bit. But, okay, here's my summer secret. After I'm done filming, and this is uploading to YouTube after I edit it, I'm gonna go get in the pool. So it seems kind of, counterproductive to go scrub my ink off my hands for a bunch of minutes when I'm gonna go get in the pool, right? It's a waste of summertime. It's a waste of 10 minutes cleaning my hands that are gonna get clean when I get in the pool that could be spent better used in the pool in just a little bit. So this you will need if you are using a Big Shot. When Stampin' Up! Has their new die cutting machine, you probably won't need that. We don't know yet, but for now, if you need it, or you can use a shim of a few extra pieces of typing paper. And if that confuses you, just message me below and I will help you. So here's the lovely bricks. How cool are these? And if you watch me when my camera's facing me, you'll know that I like this look because that's my office. My studio looks like that. So go back over now to my Sahara sand. And to really pick up on this look, just drag your pad over it, which is another reason my hands are inky. So see, even if I had cleaned them before I started this, they'd be dirty now. So it would have been a complete waste of time. And it would have been pool time wasting, right? So you can get some light, some dark. And the thing with the Sahara sand is it goes on dark and it dries lighter. Once it's dry, it won't look quite as dark. So get that rubbed on there. So now we've got two backgrounds. Pop this out. So now we've got the barnyard brick and then a little tree that our little cow's gonna stand by. So you can see here, on here I stamped with, there were little bees in this set and then I added the gingham. So here I've got my two coordinating backgrounds. So I've kept the two different backgrounds, just went with two different things instead. Then I've got some shimmer white cardstock. And I'm gonna use the cow. I debated between the cow that was standing. I needed one that I could get movement because I want the movement. So the cow that was doing the splits or the cow that's standing. And I ended up going with the cow that's standing. So memento, black, stamp her. I guess I can go ahead and stamp my grass. So I need a little, the set comes with some tufts of grass. So just add one here, and one there. And then I've got my blends to color them in. Touch my pad and get my fingers dirty again. We might as well go all out dirty fingers. So I've got dark and light olive. So for my grass, I'm just gonna do one light here. One dark there. That's all I need for the grass. How super simple is that? Which again, with this, I pulled in some of the lily pads that were in the dies that went with the frogs that not very many people got. And then with this, I did red, crumb cake, and gray granite, which is my very favorite of the Stampin' Up! Colors. I know people think I'm weird because it's my favorite color. And then you're just going to cut her out. And so through the magic of me doing this 5 minutes before I filmed, here she is already done. So you just color her in, and if you haven't seen how to color with blends, just go over. I will put some at the top so you'll get a little pop-up here of how to color with blends. I will also I'll try to find the video for this, and that'll pop up too if you do have this and you're interested in watching that. Both of these will pop up. And I also have a bunch of videos for the cows. I think I may have a playlist, so I'll get that little pop-up to go up there as well. But finish watching this one and then go back and wait for the pop-ups. So now you want to just take gently around her head and try to stay in the middle of the black line. So both the body and the head, if you can, keep a little bit of her black line. That way neither of them are going to look really hacked into. And just snip her head off. Because you want a piece that's going to give you the movement, and then you want her head. Okay, so let's mount this together. We're almost done. So first the bricks, you can see these are already lightening up. The lighter the ink goes, drier it goes, the lighter it gets. So put these on here first. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals. Let's stick this up. And I took 4, just so all the different edges, so nothing would get smashed. So peel those up. Just kind of put that in the center. And you're going to stick her body on. You can use snail or green glue or fast fuse if you still have it, whatever adhesive you use. Okay, and then I have, this is, if you've been with Stampin' Up! For as long as I have, you may have some of this in your stash. This is wire, and I don't know what gauge. So if you have a really old catalog, which I do because I've kept all of the catalogs from all of my 25 years that I have them, and you know there were years when we had 2 because we tried that experiment where let's have 2 full catalogs a year. So I have lots of catalogs. If I didn't have so many, I might go back and see what gauge this is if it said, which I'm sure it does because they, you know, Stampin' Up's good about telling us everything. But it's a fairly light gauged wire, and you can buy it in the jewelry section of a store if you don't have the old Stampin' Up! Stuff. And then this is one of our really old Millennium Zig memory writer pens, but it happens to be the right width. Like obviously these are too fat. The blender pen's a little bit too fat. I just found this was a really nice width to work on, so I'm gonna wrap it around this 4 times. The other thing that's good about this, so see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and both of them have a little bit of a end to them. The other thing I like about this wire was that we could cut it with scissors. And it came in colors. And I like that this one happens to be brown. It's also the one that I used on here. So, I mean, it didn't matter that it was not brown on this card. On this card, I like it because she doesn't have as much stuff up on the top. So then you're going to take your tearable tape, which it's not terrible, it's tearable. I think it's called tear and tape, but everybody in my group, we just call it terrible tape. Everybody thinks we're saying terrible, so over time it's just become a joke. It's strong though, and it's double-sided. We are just going to use one side. So stick this piece here, and you can see that I've just kind of bent this around a little bit with my really dirty fingers. But it's super sticky. So there's our headless cow. How's that for a, not a very nice looking card right now, is it? But nobody wants to make this. And again, you just want to have a little bit right here So just make a little bit here. Get another piece of tearable tape. Tear and tape. Tear and tape. I think it's tear and tape. We just say tearable, like, because it's terrible. Like, it's tape that is terrible. See how many times I can say it and get it so you can understand what I'm saying. So stick your tear and tape right here. See all my ink. So now you've got this piece here and that piece there, and it's super, super sticky, so it's going to hold because nobody's going to be pulling on this. So I'm going to turn it right side up to me so I get it the direction that I want. Kind of plonk your little thing back down for a second. And take my scissors, kind of hold this down so you can get her head back where it goes. Now there are little things that you can buy from Amazon and they're super expensive. Don't buy those. Just make your own. Because by the time you buy these little doingers, I can't remember what they're called. They have a little fancy word, which apparently makes people think they need to spend $20 on like 12 of them. I mean, there's a lot of money, I think. You can buy another stamp set. I mean, you could buy the 2 stamp sets that you need to make this card for about the price. So if you have the ones that are longer like this, obviously they give you a little bit more doing because there's more weight. You can kind of mess with her. You can get it, like you can wedge this down and you can get her to go the angle. And when you take it out of the envelope, she will doing. So let's finish the card up. Something else that's in the catalog, it's not going anywhere because it was in last year's holiday catalog and it made it into this one. So I think it's called, I don't know, it's like, it's not holly. It was a Christmas boughs or, I'm really bad about not looking up the names and stuff. But I do put the links to everything. So if you want to make this card, just go down below. Or if you're on my website, all of the pictures are down below. If you're on YouTube, you just look down below. So this is some olive. And on my original card, I only used olive. For this one, I thought I might pull in some moss. So I would have 2 shades of green. Because they kind of all fell on, like when they're on top of each other, you can't quite see that there's so many leaves. So just pop out 5 of those. And then to pull in some more color for summer, I almost left it just red and green, and then at the last second I got the crinkled seam binding, and this is crushed curry. So just take some little snips. I'm going to do 3. Don't need to measure it, just pull off some little. This is a great way to use up ribbon too. If you're one of those people that keeps your ribbon in a little jar, when you have little ends left, this is a great way to use it up. So I have glue dots. So put a glue dot on the ends of all of these and just make little loops. So you need 3 of these. This is part of the reason that I did the dimensionals here, because now you can go back in with these. Grab another glue dot. I'm going to turn this back around in my direction. And kind of lift these up. And then just stick these in. So I'm going to do 2 ribbons. Just kind of lift it up with the edge of your scissors because the dimensionals will hold that. I didn't stick them right on the edges. And then just grab some of these. These you can just grab here. And again, just lift them up. So I'm going to do 2 of my olive ones first. And I'll get 2 of my moss. This is where on my original card, like they all just kind of laid on top of each other. Ugh, well, that glue dot did not work. Do it that way. You can also cut these apart if you want a little bit better placement. So I'm doing the even number because then when you're left with the 2 odd, the one left of the ribbon and one left of the leaf, you can kind of see where you need your odd to go because the odd kind of draws your attention away. And every card's going to look a little different. So I think I might want something to go up there. So let's take this, lift that up there, and then let's see where do we want our last little bit of yellow. So always end with your, if you have evens and odds, with your odds, because that's really what pulls the, get that jammed under there. So it grabs it. There we go. And then one last final touch are red rhinestones. And again, these are in the annual catalog, not going anywhere, not going to sell out. And I'm just going to add these. I didn't want them to be anywhere close to the leaves because it reminded me of, because the leaves came out in the holiday catalog. And I don't think they're holly berries, but I didn't want there to be any question. If you wanted to do this card at Christmas, you could make them holly berries. And she could be some kind of a Christmas gal. But I was just going for the fun summer red and yellow combo. And again, we're going to go for odd. So 3 on one side, 2 on the other. So there she is. She has a little, she can give you some sass and some attitude when you take her out of the envelope. Kids love these kind of cards. So here's the one I did. And it's a pretty fast little card, especially for the amount of action. You know, if you buy an action card from one of the major card companies, you're going to pay a whole lot of money for it. So here's copying myself. So a lot of times when we say we copy ourselves, it's not like you're doing the exact same thing. So if somebody says, I really like this card, and you're like, oh, I'd really like to make it, but I can't because I don't have that. Look at what you do have, because obviously what you've bought is what you love. So what you do have is what you love. So if you see a card that you do like, you can make it out of what you have because that's what you love. So then the card that you like to start out with, you're gonna like even more because it's the stuff that you loved that you made it with. So if you have any questions or you need any help, or if you want to buy this stuff to get it, I will tell you that my August online classes will be, the sign-ups are starting soon. And I do have one ongoing one that's kind of like an intro to online classes that's super easy, but the projects are fun. And they're not just stamp, stamp, stick, stick. There's some tips and tricks in all of them. And that is with the Floral Essence and Perennial Essence. So you don't need a whole lot of stuff. The cards are super like low end of how much stuff you need. So that one is ongoing and the videos are up for it. So everybody have a great day. If I can help you, shopping links below. And if it's still July while you're watching it, remember for every $50 you spend, Stampin' Up's going to give you $5 for when you shop in August. So have a great day. Bye.